Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube. It's your girl Honey. Today we are talking about Venus in Gemini. Venus in Gemini is a very interesting place to have your Venus. I think it definitely depends on whether you are an evolved Venus in Gemini or not, because a lot of people can agree and disagree with a lot of astrologers that do speak about having their Venus in Gemini. Because a lot of people do worry about people who have their Venus in Gemini through infidelity reasons and never quite being satisfied, etc. But we're going to dive a little deep into Venus in Gemini from all aspects, or from all corners, and we're going to expose them. Okay, so what is your Venus? Your Venus is your it's the way you love, it's what you should be attracted to, it's your romance, it's your creative skills, it's your passions. Taurus is the ruler of Venus. Libra is the co-ruler. Gemini is a mutable sign. Its element is air. It is home to the third house. Its ruler is Mercury. It's the co-ruler to Mercury. Virgo is the main ruler. It's the co-ruler to Mercury. And having your Venus in a Mercury sign, it definitely creates a very different way of expressing how you love. So someone who has their Venus in Gemini, you would either be a Gemini sun, a Cancer sun, or a Leo sun, or a Taurus sun and an Aries sun. Okay, so Venus doesn't travel too far away from the sun. It's always going to be 2 signs before Gemini or 2 signs after Gemini. All right, so someone who has their Venus in Gemini, what can I tell you about them? Well, Gemini is described as very unsettled energy. It's about searching, and what it is, they are searching for someone who has the total package. All right, and the total package tends to be someone who has multiple personalities, which is what their Venus can be looked at. Venus in Gemini is charming as hell. Listen, especially if that person is a Leo, and they've got their Mercury Leo, whoa, they will just literally just get your panties off quickly, honey. They are very good with their words, Mercury Leo people. But to have your Venus, in Mercury, these people value communication. These people are just charming, all round charming. In the beginning, when you first meet them, you're like, oh my God, he's great. I really like him. And these people tend to look for a Gemini type of person. They're attracted to Gemini energy because their Venus is in Gemini, so they tend to date Gemini people, right? So they need someone who is able to adapt to different situations, someone who is confident, someone who is intellectual. Oh my God. These people need to be mentally stimulated. These people need to be with someone who is adventurous, who will get up one day and say, hey, let's go and get tattoos. Hey, let's go and do a jog in a different city or whatever. Let's go and do something that is different to what we do every day. These people don't work well with mundane lifestyles. This is why they don't really work very well with Capricorn energy, because Capricorn is traditional. They like routines, and Gemini does the complete opposite. Very unconventional, very adventurous, very different. These people tend to have multiple interests. They can be the jack of all trades. They can be the person who likes to sew or do textiles, but they definitely really enjoy doing sports. They're really good at having multiple different interests, different personalities. These people are just interested in someone who doesn't bore them. The main concern for a Venus in Gemini person is boredom. They cannot be with someone who is mundane, who does the same things day in, day out. They need someone who has multiple interests just like them, and that keeps them on their feet, on their toes. Now, because this is Gemini Venus, these people are notorious for for a need to be free. It's very hard to have this person on lock, or have them in a sense where, you know, you can't go to this party because I have insecurities, and you can't attend this, and you can't do that. You can't do that to a Venus and Gemini person. They have this spirit where they need to be free to do what they want, and they're massive flirts, and they are people persons. They love learning from others, talking to multiple people. They're extremely friendly. And this is why it can be a problem a lot for their partners, because a lot of times, you know, their partners may not even trust them because they are constantly speaking to multiple people. And sometimes, because they value communication so much, they may have exes that they tend to still speak with because they value the communication, and not because, you know, they still have feelings for that person, but the communication is great. So why should I cut this person off because I like speaking to them? So why am I gonna jeopardize, you know, my mental stimulation because, you know, this guy says he has insecurities? Why would I do that? That's very Venus in Capricorn, like Venus in Gemini. Like, I find Venus in Gemini people to be crazy confident as well. Like, it kind of depends, to be fair, if you've got like a Taurus energy, maybe Taurus sun, Taurus moon, you can be quite like laid back and relaxed. But when you have your Venus in Gemini, you might be a Leo, you might even be a Cancer, you know, it definitely makes you appear a lot more charming and a lot more approachable. People want to approach you because you're super friendly. Everyone likes Geminis in the beginning. You see, we like you guys in the beginning, and I'm a Gemini rising, so, you know, when people first meet me, oh, you're really nice, thank you, thanks, but two twos now. Now, this is where we kind of, a lot of people struggle with Venus and Gemini, right? Is that they like variety. These people would work extremely well with someone who's got Sagittarius energy, who's their opposite, but they're very much alike as well, because Sagittarius, they're all about philosophy, mental stimulation, you know, teaching, and they are adventurous, they're fun, and it's all very, very similar to Gemini energy. And Gemini loves talking, they love expressing, they love they value communication, you know, they like to be kept on their toes, and they like adventure. These two signs together can definitely be seen in a polygamous style type relationship, because Sagittarius is not very polygamous, and then Venus and Gemini is also not very polygamous either. However, like I said in the beginning of the video, this all varies on whether you are an evolved sign or not, because when you're not evolved, a lot of the negative traits may be embedded in you, and as you get older you start to learn, okay, this is not really what I want, it's not my calling. You grow up and you realize, okay, maybe this is not what I want to do, maybe I'm actually quite comfortable, you know, and being committed to someone. It all just depends on you as an individual. But with Venus being in Gemini, it just makes you crave variety and crave different energies from different people, and it can appear to be a type of energy that is not the most faithful. And as Gemini energy naturally is curious. They ask lots of questions, they want to learn a lot more, and even when it comes to your sexual style, your sexual taste, you know, depending on what aspects you have in your chart as well, like if you've got Uranus close by or aspected to your Venus, if you've got, you know, your Sun and your Venus in the 8th house as well. In Gemini, it can definitely relate to someone who might have a large sexual appetite, but, you know, you might be someone who might be into the opposite sex as well, depending on what aspects you have. You know, Uranus, I know, definitely makes you someone who who enjoys different type of sex, okay, with different people. Now, when you are someone who is a Cancer sun, Cancer is very nurturing. You know, Cancer really wants to look after their partners, and they're very sexual, a very sexual sign. When you have a Cancer sun with your Venus in Gemini, it definitely creates a contrast, you know, or let's say it creates a conflict. And the reason why I say this is because Cancer energy, Cancer sign people, you know, I don't think they are the most the most monogamous people of the zodiac, but because they are all about the attention given to their partners and receiving and being, you know, that nurturer and just really supporting their partners, right? When you throw a Venus in Gemini, Venus into play, it makes them this way, it makes them a lot less nurturing. And I know a Cancer person who has their Venus in Gemini, and it's weird because she really craves relationships with people, but she would happily have multiple people around her for the attention, for variety, to say, okay, well, you know, I'm cool with this person, he's a cool guy, and I'm cool with him, you know, like. And even when they're in relationships, but they're very naive to having a lot of male friends, female friends, depending on who you are, right? But they can be very naive into the men and women that they have around them. And I find that a lot of them tend to flirt. There's massive flirters, so particularly the women who say that they are straight, they do flirt with other women as well, just because, you know, I don't know why, but they just do it just because. Now, when you throw into an Aries sun person, I'm an Aries sun, I'm a Gemini rising, I find that in the astrologers community, Aries is highly disliked and Gemini is highly disliked, you know, it's definitely, and it's definitely signs that aren't, you know, that's not the first choice for everybody, right? But anyway, you know, when you have an Aries sun, you're all about the Aries is exalted in the sun. It's your ego. It's, you know, it's, hey, look at me, I'm an Aries, you know, hard-headedness, and your weakness is the head. So all you ever do is just, you're headstrong in everything that you do. And you tend to have an aggressive streak in you. And then you put your Venus into Gemini. You are someone who's definitely magnetic in a sense where people love your freedom. People love your adventure. You know, how much you don't listen to anybody. And you do what's right for you. But it can also still be a massive turn off for many people, because it's almost like you're too free, you know, and that can definitely make people feel very much intimidated by how free you really, really are. And also, it kind of contributes to having multiple personalities, because, you know, when you are dating a Venus in Gemini, you're gonna get different people. Someone who's intellectual, someone who's nurturing today, someone who's fun tomorrow, someone who wants to just sit in and do Netflix and chill. Like, these people are notorious for, you know, Monday, let's Netflix and chill. Tuesday, let's go to the cinema. You know, Wednesday, let's go ice skating. You know, Thursday, let's go. You have to keep up with this Venus, because they have to have variety and they have to be doing multiple things in order for them to feel you see, like how Capricorn likes structure, you know, routine. You know, Mondays I get up at 10 o'clock, Tuesdays I go to the shop and blah blah blah. No, Gemini feels fulfillment through having multiple different things to do. And although to others it looks almost like that person's really scatty, they're really messy, you know, you're not organized, but to Gemini it's organized chaos. They work exceptionally well when it comes to having multiple things to do, because it's how they stay busy and it's what makes them happy, and it's what fulfills them. So when you're dating these people, bear that in mind. You need to be with someone, they need to be with someone who does not keep them bored, keeps them on their toes. So that's my video of Venus in Gemini. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it. I will see you on the next one, people. Take care.